Well, hello enemies book lovers, my name is Ash and welcome back to my channel. You know, I've had this idea brewing for at least a few weeks now. I would say probably the last 2 months, but I've been wanting to dabble into a genre that I've tried before. Not very heavily, but I've tried in the past. And I think it's about time that I try to get into it a bit more and put myself through some type of discomfort in order to discover if I enjoy this genre or not. I'm going to be trying dark romance, and it's going to be progressively getting worse as I do not only this video, but I'm probably going to do more videos in the future of this. Maybe I'll be wrong, maybe some of these won't be as bad as I think, or some of these might be darker than I expect. But yes, I'm a little bit worried to say the least because I'm not usually a huge dark romance person. I've tried a few. Sometimes it's a little too much for me. Sometimes I can understand why I might like it, to dabble in it, but I'm a little bit worried. Disclaimers, obviously, if you like a dark romance, be wary watching this video because I'm not going to be positively loving every single aspect that I read. I'm probably going to be DNFing some books or criticizing some books. I might be seeing books as problematic or seeing certain themes or anything like that as, you know, topics of conversation. That being said, I think it is okay to enjoy these books, but just know that watching this video is not going to be me absolutely loving every single one of these books. Just a warning, a little bit of foreshadowing, even though I haven't read them yet, that I'm probably not going to be loving them all, and I might criticize them, and I might find them to be absolutely atrocious and not understand why you all like these books. Why are y'all nasty like this? Why do you like dark romance? I was gonna add Den of Vipers to this list, but I already knew everything about it. I've watched a lot of people talking about it. So I'm not gonna be reading Den of Vipers at all within the next 15 books I'm going to eventually read, but there are some very popular ones that are on this list, mostly on the very end of this list because I'm not sure if I'm ready to read them right now. I'm gonna try to progressively get worse and progressively get closer to more darker topics. But until then, we're gonna start with 3 books in this video that are a little bit, maybe a little bit more tame than the others. This is going to be a mix between sit down review kind of the book itself and then like vlog portions of me reading it, my reactions to some of the parts in the books, that kind of fun stuff. I'm gonna try not to do spoilers. If I do spoilers though and talk about why I don't like certain things or things that are interesting, I'll put spoiler timestamps and things on the video so that way you are aware of when spoilers begin and end. I'll try my best not to put too many spoiler warnings in case you end up wanting to read these books for some weird reason. You're nasty. The first book is going to be the most tame, at least from what I know. I've gotten almost all these recs from booktubers who have kind of given an example of how dark these are, and the ones in the beginning are relatively not too dark. Some of them not even really dark, but they have like themes that are kind of, you know, maybe could be considered so. So these are more of the ones that are pretty calm with just a little bit of a little sprinkle of darkness. Not really too much though. These ratings could be very different depending on the person. So someone might have said this is not dark and it could have been dark for someone else. So I'm going to have like a ranking system and I'm going to tell you if I think it's something that is darker than I expected or something that is not as dark. And there's also books on this list that I added to myself and I don't know where they go. So I kind of put them in the center and I will see depending on where I feel like they should go, and I will tell you how dark they are. So the first one is pretty simple. This one is going to be under 100 pages, so I should be getting to this within 1 to 2 days. Realistically speaking, I'll probably get to this in 2 days, but I should be able to get to it really quickly because it's under 100 pages. So that's a nice one. That's a nice touch, something that's simple and quick and easy for me to get through. So these are all on KU or Kindle Unlimited, so if you want to get to these for some reason, you have an option if you have a Kindle, or like you're my friend, she loves dark romance. If you're watching this, you know who you are. She loves her dark romance. Do I judge her for it? Just a pinch, but maybe I'll be into it too, okay? Maybe I'll like it too. So the first book I'm going to get to, like I said, is under 100 pages. I think it's around 94 or so pages. This is by Christine C.Jones, and this is the first book in a trilogy. This is called Maybe Next Time, which is the first book in the Vegas Nights books. This one, from what I know, I've watched a video about it like a few weeks ago, so I don't know a whole lot about it. From what I remember, I might be wrong, I'll tell you if I'm wrong later. This is about a husband and a wife who are having a little bit of a difficulty in the relationship, and they kind of want to spice things up. I think they're in Las Vegas, and the husband decides either he does it or he hires someone to do it, but gets the wife kidnapped, and I guess that kind of like supposed to spice things up in the relationship. So Maybe Next Time is going to be my first dark romance of the video. I will talk to you about how I feel about it. I don't think I'm going to be updating as I read unless there's something really interesting happens or something really weird happens. Otherwise, I will come back to you probably tomorrow or the next few days and tell you how I feel about it and then get to my next book. So let me go and start Maybe Next Time right now. Well, hello there. It's been a day since I updated you last. It's about 8 p.m. on the 6th. The 7th of May. I'm losing track of time, I'm sorry. So I finished Maybe Next Time, right, by Christine C.Jones. I read it in one day. It was 94 pages, pretty easy to do, very fast to get through. Now let me tell you my thoughts very quickly. Yes, the synopsis was pretty accurate. It's about a husband named Denver and then his wife Kenza, and they have issues. A year prior, something happens. What happens, I'm not going to say because I guess it's kind of like a spoiler. This is very short, so I'm not going to say what it is, but content warnings, obviously, if you are sensitive to anything, please check before you check this out. But they have an issue. There's like miscommunication in the past about why she thinks that he's upset with her, and she tries to like file divorce, and he's like, why are you wanting to divorce me? What happened? And so in order to kind of get her to talk to him, he abducts her. So it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I expected it to be way worse. It didn't seem like she was that upset by it, but she was a little bit like, excuse me, are you abducting me? He's like, maybe. So this isn't really that dark. I already said this is kind of like a very light kind of gateway into the dark romance genre. And it is pretty much. There is one part where he's very, very protective of her. And so there's like a guy that shows up and he's kind of in front of Kenza. And so Denver walks up with his, but he brings this out and like points it at the guy and is like, don't mess with my wife. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I see you. Nice. So there are darker elements in it. There is a little bit of like, there's a decent amount of smut, especially at the start. I didn't really love that there was so much smut in the beginning. It was really short, so I didn't feel like I was reading anything that was interesting to me. It was just really quick and fast, and I actually don't really like really short books for that reason, but I think it was enjoyable enough for me to like not dislike it. I think it was good. And I think that's all I really have to say about it. I do like that it was like Black love. So it was a husband and wife and both of them were Black characters, which was really cool. There was a few positives, but overall, it just wasn't really long enough for me to get that attached to the characters or not really much plot. So I give it a 3 overall, but I still think it was worth reading and maybe even reading more of the author. So if you're interested, please check her out, and I might check her out in the future as well. I actually did my own tier list and I will show it to you now. Here it is, my beautiful tier list I'm going to be doing. My pen was slightly, it was exploding a little bit. It has like, you know, some ink, and I have ink on my hand still from this morning. Alas, I made a tier ranking system. We have Sunset, which is going to be the books that have a lot of light in it. It's not too dark. It's like barely any dark at all in it, but there is some parts in it that are a little bit, and it's just like a pinch, a little sprinkle of darkness, but not much at all. Then we have Shadows, which is kind of stepping into the darkness. It is in between kind of like nothing at all and dark. I would say these are just ones that I think maybe has like one scene that's dark, or just like very minimal amounts in the book that will be in the shadows. Dark will of course be anything that I would think is a traditional dark romance, anything that I'm like, you know, that's messed up. That will be in the dark middle category. We have the Trench, or Mariana Trench, which is like the darkest part of the ocean, the deepest depths of the ocean where no sunlight is touching it. This is the depravity of dark romance. I'm kidding, but not really. This is like where I don't think I start liking books anymore. I think this will become too much for me. This will probably be some of the later books in this video, or this project I should say. There's gonna be 15 altogether. Here they all are. Aren't they beautiful? I'm gonna be ranking them all on this list, and yeah, the Trench, or Mariana's Trench, is going to be the dark stuff. But then, that isn't the darkest one. We have the Black Hole, which is going to be the ones I probably can't even read. I probably can't even get through. These are ones that are trying to suck you in because they're just so diabolical and horrible and dark and messed up that they just suck you in, even though you probably shouldn't be going near it, or, you know, wanting to go around it because it might just end you. I'd be pretty surprised if anything went into the Black Hole section. It's more there just to show that I just can't read it, how bad it is. This system would be a lot different for other people. Maybe some people find things darker than others, so people might rank it in different orders. This is going to be my ranking system though. If you are new to dark romance, I would assume that these are probably the best ones to start with. These ones are like the dark veterans of the romance genre, and then we have what is below the dark romance readers, I don't know. But some of them would read the Black Hole, because I know people are out there. I'm ignoring the background noise, the sun's about to set, so I'm gonna just continue and ignore the background noises. What is that? I'm gonna take Maybe Next Time, and I'm gonna put it in obviously Sunset, because this is a very light stepping into dark romance, but it's like hardly anything at all. So this one is pretty simple and fast. So we're gonna put it in the Sunset category. I want it to be perfectly straight. Unlike me, it is straight. The first book is in the running in the Sunset category. So we're starting strong with the beginner dark romance categories where it's just dabbling, and I kind of appreciate that. I think I need to be slowly introduced to it, even though I've read some darker stuff in the past. Not extremely, but like a little bit. So I feel like this is a little bit too late for me, but I'm enjoying kind of like learning as I go about how dark things are and how little dark they are. You know what I'm trying to say, I think. Maybe not, maybe. It's a helicopter above my house because the hospital's near my house. So I'm lucky enough to have a lot of background noise every time I film a video, but only when I film a video is there background noise. So let me just show you what it looks like right now. Here is the ranking system currently. There's only one book, so it's not that impressive, but there are 14 books to go. Now, the second book in this list is one that I feel like might be darker than I think it's going to be, but I feel like it might be fine. The author is the reason why I'm a bit worried about this. So you might know who this author is. This is Penelope Douglas. Now, she has written a very popular book in the past that I've heard a lot about, and the reason why I didn't choose Credence, I'll put it here. The reason why I didn't choose Credence is because Credence is more of like a taboo dark romance. I'm trying not to choose taboo things because I don't like taboo. I've tried a few, and most of them so far I've hated. There's one book that's probably my hated book of all time, and it was like a taboo romance. It wasn't that it was badly written, it was like the content made me feel incredibly disgusted by it. So I don't think I'm gonna try taboo things if I can't help myself. Now this one is not going to be Credence, thankfully, but it is going to be Corrupt, which is the first book in the Devil's Night series. There's 4 books in the series, but it can be read as a standalone. So if I like it, I'll continue it, but I'm not entirely sure if I'll like it. I'm a little bit nervous. This has 56,000 reviews on Amazon, and it also has 500 pages. So I'm probably going to update you as I read this one. I'm going to have more of a vlog for this one. The reason why I didn't do it for the first book is because the first book was 94 pages. I didn't really have a lot to talk about. This one I probably will have like a vlog portion of me actually reading the book and reacting or whatever. We're following a female character named Erica. She is young, she's in college, and she has a brother who has a best friend. And as you can imagine, she kind of has a thing for the best friend. I'm not usually a fan of people who are growing up with someone else. If she knew him when she was really young and grew up alongside of him, I'm a little bit nervous about that because it does kind of mention that it says my brother's girlfriend grew up hanging out around my house. So, wait, my boyfriend's older brother. Oh, it's her boyfriend's older brother. Oh. Oh shoot, okay. The male love interest does say my brother's girlfriend grew up hanging around the house. I'm hoping that when she grew up, she wasn't too young. I don't like when there's like a weird line of like them knowing them when they were kids or knowing them when they were young or like teenagers, like really young teenagers. It makes me a little bit uncomfy. I'm interested in reading this. This feels like it's going to be a mixture between dark and taboo, so I'm a little hesitant, but I'm also looking forward to reading it because it might be interesting. This gives me a similar vibe to one book I tried reading called Hawk. I'll put it up here. It was like she had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend had a roommate who just came out of prison, and he ended up kind of living with them for a bit, and she like cheats on her boyfriend with the guy. I could not read it. I DNF'd it. It wasn't interesting enough to me. The writing wasn't great. It felt kind of weird. I'm hoping this is better than Hawk. It also says that a few years ago she put my high school friends in prison and now they're out. At first I thought this was a why choose, but I don't think it is. I don't think it is, but they're gonna probably get like their revenge on her. I don't know. I can see how this is going to be maybe dark, maybe taboo. I hope it's not too much, but at the same time, I don't mind having a sprinkle of it. So Corrupt is going to be my second book for the video, and I'll update you as I read and hopefully come back to you soon. It's almost nighttime, so if you see me while it's dark, I'll be updating you within the next few hours, but if I update you while it's light, it might be the next day. So let's try and read Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. Trevor is her boyfriend. I don't like him. He's trash. I bet you Michael's about to show up. I bet you. I don't have any money to bet, but I will bet you. The man, the myth, the legend has appeared. Did he see what happened? Did he see Trevor being an asshole to her? Kind of into it. I think I'm kind of into it. I don't know. We'll see. Hi, it's the next day, as you can imagine, because there's sunlight. And surprisingly enough, I've read 111 pages of Corrupt, and I am 24% into this, so I'm a quarter of the way almost. A few things I want to talk about. So the one that she's interested in is Michael. She has a boyfriend that technically isn't her boyfriend anymore, so it's really confusing because like constantly mention that they're boyfriend-girlfriend, but she'll be like, we're not actually a couple anymore, at least. They used to be, not anymore. And that is Trevor, who is the brother of Michael. Michael's the older one, Trevor's the younger one, but she dated Trevor. So it's interesting. Trevor doesn't like Michael, and Michael has an interest in the main character. What's her name? I don't know. And I think her name is Rika. Hi, I've come in to say that I have messed up her name the entire video. Her name is in fact Erica, not Rika, but the entire video I call her Rika. So I only noticed this at the end of my editing. I'm about to post the video in a few days, and I just noticed it, so apologies. Her name is Erica, not Rika, although I will be calling her Rika the entire video. The book starts off with they're at like a party. She's with Trevor. Trevor's being a weirdo. I don't like him at all. She has a scar on her neck, and he doesn't like the scar. He always tries to like make her hide it. Ew. They knew each other when they were younger, and they kind of just like tried dating even though she wasn't interested in him. And then she kind of like, I think, broke things off, even though Trevor's annoying and still possessive, and he like forces himself to kiss her, and she's like pushing him away. That happens a few times in this book, by the way. There's like people just trying to like kiss her when she's trying to say no. They don't listen. Michael sees this exchange, doesn't do anything, of course, because he's tough and dark and mysterious. And Rika, the main character, whatever her name is, moves into a new apartment building and gets like a suite that's just below the penthouse. And as you can imagine, who's in the penthouse? It's Michael. Michael's in the penthouse above her. So she has the room right beneath him. Of course, that's gonna cause some things in the future. I love forced proximity, so I'm not complaining about that. Like a few flashback scenes where Michael and his friends, how the friends went to jail because of something that she did. We don't really know what it is yet. I'm assuming it's because they did something with her, or like they allowed things to happen with her when she was underage. And it's kind of weird, not gonna lie. Rika is 16 years old, about to turn 17, but she's not 17 yet. And there's like this thing happening at a broken down church, and she like sneaks her way there, and Michael is, it's weird because she's 16. I don't know how old Michael is. I know he's older than Trevor, so he's at least 2 years older than her, but probably 4 or more. So if she was 16, he was at least 18 or 20, around that range, if not even older, and she's 16. This is giving me the vibe. This is the vibe I don't like. Anything regarding underage people, regardless of the gender of the character, not my thing. It's always a weird thing when authors do this, where they have like the girl be underage and then the guy's interested in her, and they never take it to the like furthest step, but there's always that insinuation that they want to, and like he wanted to at one point very clearly. He like had her against the wall and was like touching her, and I'm just like, she's 16 years old. She's in her school outfit from school. This is kind of creepy, to say the least. And him and all the guys are like the friend group. They're called the Four Horsemen, and they wear these masks. And I like masks on men, I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, it felt really cheesy because these four guys just walk into the school, like the high school or college. I don't know what it is. I'm pretty sure it's a high school, but whatever. They walk into this high school, like they own the place, and they hear like this music blasting, and they walk down the hall, and all the people are spooning over them, and they like come into the classroom and like take people out. And then Michael wants to choose her, but the teacher's like, she's 16. You can't bring her with you. But then she sneaks out anyway. And it felt so cheesy and weird. Like, if that was high school, those guys would be bullied. Sorry, like, if it was my school, those guys would be made fun of. They would not be, everyone wouldn't be loving them. I used to think I didn't mind flashbacks in books, but it's kind of getting to a point where I just want to know what happens in the present story, because I do want to see Rika and Michael kind of like, you know, but alas, there's flashbacks, which is sometimes annoying. It kind of like breaks the flow of books sometimes, and I don't always love it. Michael is a jerk, as you can imagine, and I don't mind it so far. I assume something bad's gonna happen. It kind of gives me like Zodiac Academy vibes, where all the men are kind of trying to take revenge on the girls, or like the female characters, and kind of how it feels right now. They have revenge, like they want to do something in revenge for having them go into jail because of her. I don't know what it is yet, and I assume that Michael, even though he's in on it, will eventually dislike whatever happens, because I think he's protective, even though sometimes he doesn't show that he is. Sometimes he is, sometimes he's not. It's really confusing. I don't really know how Michael works, and I don't really know if I like him yet, but I am looking forward to seeing what happens. I mean, maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't. I'm enjoying it enough to continue it, and I'm actually not minding the writing style, so that's a positive. But yeah, I will continue now. I have nothing really else to say. If I have any reactions, I will let you know. Let me just continue this and see if I continue to somewhat enjoy it, and maybe if I'll like it more or like it less, depending on what happens in the future. I need to update you in the morning when it's not dark. What the fuck? I feel like I'm so tired. I just woke up. Well, hi there. It's thunderstorming So you might hear some rain and some birds. Very atmospheric, if you ask me. I should put my hair down. My hair is like this 90% of the day because I hate my hair being in my face. But for the videos, I shall let my hair down. I am 52% of the way through it, so I'm over halfway now. And the last night reaction was Michael and Rika. Michael and Rika were intimate for the first time, like full on. And I didn't expect it because it was very random. And at the time, I was happy about it. Now, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if this is spoilers, probably not, but Michael is very manipulative. I feel like his character building isn't very good. He likes the main character, supposedly. I can't really tell most of the time. And then he's protective of her, but he's also not protective of her because he thinks she can do whatever she wants to do. She's an independent woman. She doesn't need his help. But then she's in situations that she kind of needs help in. But he's like, you could do it yourself because you're strong. And I'm just like, what? Am I supposed to like that? Am I supposed to be attracted to that? Because it's not that attractive. Like there's moments in the book that are really good. But then sometimes in the book I'm just like, what am I reading? Like this isn't that good at all. He's manipulative. The revenge thing is happening in the next chapter and I'm not looking forward to it because I know it's gonna be bad and she's gonna forgive them because she ends up with Michael probably. So there's that. I'm gonna kind of go into like spoiler-ish territory, so if you plan on reading this, probably don't watch the next few little bit. I feel like anything from this point onward might be spoilers because I'm gonna be talking about over the halfway mark. So if you don't want to be spoiled and you want to read Corrupt, probably don't watch this. I also do have a pimple patch on my face. It's kind of hard to see. Maybe I should have said anything. Now you can notice it. Great. Whatever. Get into spoilers now. No, I don't really feel like I don't have a lot to say since last time. The only thing I really have to say is that whatever the men did to get themselves in jail, 100% deserved it. They 100% deserved it. They went to jail for 3 years. And they did a heinous amount of illegal activities since then. Or before then, they did so much illegal activities. But the reason why they don't get in trouble for it is because they are privileged boys that have rich parents. Their parents have money and power, so they end up getting away with everything. And that makes me just want to make them go into jail more. Like, I'm kind of happy that she put them in jail. Even if they didn't do anything wrong to her, they deserve it. They were doing such illegal activities. They are like these little punks that think that they're cool. They're doing grand arson, lighting places on fire, and think it's fun. And I'm just like wondering why they think it's fun, because it's just stupid activities, and they think they're so cool. And I find it to be very much of a turn off, in my opinion. We still don't know what got them into jail. We don't know yet. There's been like alluding to, but nothing has been shown yet. But we do know one thing that makes me a little bit uncomfortable. No, it doesn't make me a little bit comfortable. It makes me uncomfortable, and that is Damon. Damon is the worst of the four. There are 4 guys in this friendship, and Damon is the worst one. He is the one that keeps pushing himself on the main character, and he just did it again at like a party. He started making out with her. But 16 and 18 or 19, there's not a huge gap in age, but it feels really uncomfortable. She has like a school uniform. She's in school, and you're just about to graduate or have graduated or are in college. It's weird. No, nasty. I don't like Damon. I think he has some things I could have liked, but he just always insinuates pushing himself on people, and he always like jokes that he's going to do it or that he's done it before. That's not funny. That's not funny at all. But I accidentally spoiled myself for future books, and I'm kind of curious. I actually might continue the series, maybe. We'll see how this goes. I'm enjoying it. It's dark, but it's not dark to the point where it's like the depths of darkness, so I am liking it. It kind of gives me the bully romance vibe. It's not really bully romance, but it gives me the vibe of it because Michael is so standoffish that he's pretty much just an a-hole to her, and sometimes I like it, but sometimes it just annoys me because he seems like he doesn't care for her, but he does. The way that he is with her, her dynamic with him is so strange because he pushes himself away from her, and then he says he hates her in his head, but then he wants to be with her, obviously. And I think he's just in denial, maybe, but like at the same time, it's just a little bit annoying, and I have no idea how they're going to end up being together because this is a very toxic relationship. And I think, this is a spoiler for the series, I think they all end up having children with their partners. And I like pregnancy and, you know, baby, like that stuff I like in books, but I don't like it when it's not done well, for one, and for two, if the guy's like not a good person, if he's like emotionally abusive, physically abusive, if he's just a creep. Like dark romance kind of books, I always find it to be a little bit creepy when the men have kids with the woman, because like he's messed up in the head, and I don't think he should have a child. Like I think they need help, not children. Maybe I should take my glasses off. I'll leave it. No, is this annoying you? I'm gonna take these off. Now I have an imprint on my nose. I just don't know how I feel yet. I feel like I might start hating the characters more, the men mostly, because of what's about to happen. I know that they're about to get their revenge, and they already did something that was horrible. It does definitely give me early Zodiac Academy vibes with a man being horrible to her, but then one of them falling in love with her or, you know, liking her. But for the time being, I will be continuing this hopefully today. I would like to continue this today, although I have a few things I want to do for my readathon. I should be getting that up sooner than this video, so I want to get that stuff done, and I will be coming back to reading Corrupt and then also reading my other May books because I didn't have this on my TBR, and my TBR for May was already huge, so that's bad. I shouldn't have done that, but here we are. If nothing happens before the 75% mark, I will update you then. I would like to have my reactions because my reactions are over the I have such dramatic over the top reactions when I'm alone, so I'm not playing it up for the camera. I promise you that I actually react the way that I do on camera in real life. It's embarrassing. I actually squeal and cover my face and like kick my feet. I do that in real life, even when I'm alone. So usually when I'm alone, if someone's around me, I don't do it. I try not to embarrass myself in real life, okay? I try. It's hard, but I try. I shall be continuing Corrupt and updating you, like I said, either when something happens or at the 75% mark. And we will see if I still think Michael's okay. Right now, I'm kind of ambivalent on him. I don't really know how I feel about him yet. There's moments I do like him, moments I don't. This smut, though, was, I wasn't gonna say good, but it was not that great. But it wasn't really detailed very well, in my opinion. I've seen it a lot better. And I just finished Glow by Raven Kennedy, and her smut scenes, so good. So I went from that to this. Wasn't as good, so hopefully I will still enjoy it and continue it, and I might continue the series. I will tell you by the end of the book though if I actually want to. If it ends really badly, I might not, so let me go continue it, or hopefully soon continue it, and then I will update you again when I can. I'm not sure if I'm liking this book anymore. I really don't know what to say about it because I thought I was enjoying it, but now I'm not entirely sure if I am. I'm trying not to move in my chair, sorry. If I have a chair that moves, I like to just go back and forth on it. It's a bad habit. So the guys are trying to get revenge on Rika because Rika put them in jail for 3 years. I didn't really know what they did. I thought maybe they did something illegal to her and that's what happened. But no, that's not what happened. And I'm actually kind of annoyed, I guess, at the outcome of everything that happened. They're taking revenge on her. And you know what their revenge is? They bring her to one of their houses. I think it's Michael's house, the main guy, the main male character's name is Michael. They bring her to Michael's place and say, hey, come to his house now, which she always listens to them. I don't understand why she always listens to them. It's so annoying. She's like, oh, they want me to back down. I'm not gonna back down. I'm not afraid. I'm like, you should be afraid of them. They're creeps. Like, to get away from these guys. They pretty much say that because you took 3 years of our lives, we're gonna pretty much take you and let ourselves use you until we're gratified. And all 3 guys start to insinuate they're going to force themselves on her. And then Damon actually tries to force himself on her. And I can't tell anymore if they're joking, if they're being serious, because all the time, whenever they do these things, they're always like, we're not actually going to do it. We're just trying to make you afraid of us. And I just couldn't tell if they were being serious because a part of me thinks that they were, because they wanted revenge on her and they were saying these horrible, horrible things about her. And then all of a sudden, they're attempting to. Like, Damon literally is like, he tries. He like opens her legs and it's really creepy and messed up. Thankfully, she slices Damon open because she had a knife on her. They didn't know. And I was, thank God. I hate Damon. Damon, that's a whole nother story I'll talk about soon. Runs away and then she comes back because she doesn't want to back down from them. And I don't understand her mindset. Her mindset is dumb. And then every single time Michael is mean to her, he doesn't care about her. It feels like he doesn't care about her. And he always wants her to chase after him. And she always does. She always chases after him because every time he does something horrible to her, she's like, I can't back down. He'll be winning if I back down. So instead of leaving him like the smart person would do, she's like, I'm not gonna back down from him. So she goes back to him even though he's doing horrible things to her. It feels like reverse psychology because you're losing the game by leaving and backing down and being afraid of him. It's not really losing though. I feel like, in my opinion, you're making him lose because you're not going back to him. This doesn't make sense. It's really frustrating. I want Michael to suffer a little bit, but he never does. Every single time something bad happens, she just kind of lets it happen to her. She gets mad, but then she lets it happen to her. It's really annoying and frustrating to read. I just want him to be afraid about something happening to her. Like, I want something to happen to her so that way he can actually feel something, because it just feels like he's just taking and taking and taking and nothing's being given. And I just don't know how I feel about it. Like, I kind of enjoyed some of the aspects of the book, but now I'm just kind of getting annoyed by it because of how easily she just goes back to him, and it's just frustrating for me to read. And then we have Damon, who is a literal creep. And we find out why he went to prison. And the other two, I don't really care. They went to prison for a different reason. But Damon, I showed you the quote in the little short video. He's making jokes about doing things with children, like babies. And he literally hates women. The reason why he went to jail is because he slept with an underage girl and filmed it. Not to mention when Rika was 16, underage, we know she's underage because they keep saying, we can't do this, we shouldn't be doing this. And Michael says, no, I can't do anything with you until you're 18, and he leaves, which is respectable, and at least he has some type of, code, moral code. Damon, on the other hand, didn't care that she was 16 and wanted to sleep with her. And then he goes to jail and films himself sleeping with another girl that's underage. There's a theme going on here. I think he was like 19 too. It wasn't like he was 17. He was 19 years old, almost in adulthood. And he was with an underage girl and he filmed it. I know that Damon is probably the one that everyone loves the most. People fawn over him and it kind of creeps me out. I know that his book might make him look like a better guy, but it makes me really creeped out the fact that the worst of them all, the one that literally goes after young girls that isn't even legal yet, everyone's fawning over him, which really, really creeps me out. I'll say that. I'm almost on the book. I'm not quite done yet, but it's just uncomfortable sometimes. I can see why it might be dark romance. It just feels uncomfortable. Like, it doesn't really feel dark. It just feels like annoying and weird. And the fact that Rika is treated like poop and she just goes back to them. It's really frustrating. Regardless, I'm going to be continuing this and finishing this. I will tell you my overall thoughts and I'll put it on the tier list. I don't really know if I even want to finish the book. It's not that I hate it or anything. It's just that I just hate the dynamic and how Rika just goes back to him. It's just so frustrating to read. I just want her to have a backbone. And I mean, I guess she does, but it's almost not the way I want it to be. I don't know. Let me go and finish the book and then I'll come back to you at the very end of the video and finish it off. Well, unfortunately, a few weeks have passed since I finished this book, but I'm going to be finally updating you on how I felt about it. I should have definitely done this a bit sooner because I kind of forget a lot of the reasons why I hated this book. Well, I didn't hate it, I just disliked it. But there's a few reasons why I didn't like this book and I feel like I should have talked about it when it was more fresh. So of course I'm here because I finished Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. I gave this a 2. Clearly I didn't like it that much. I didn't really like a few aspects of it. I'm not going to go into spoiler territory, but all I really have to say is these characters, these guys are just spoiled rich kids who don't know how to take like no for an answer, or just to act like children. They're all either in their late teens in the flashbacks or are currently in their early 20s, and it feels like they are all juveniles. I don't understand. They are not attractive at all. They also do these things are just horrible to the main character. There's so many times when the main character is attempted to be forced upon. Nothing actually happens with her in that regard, but there are so many situations where they try to force themselves on her, or they pretend they're going to force themselves on her, which is so annoying because we don't know if they're being genuinely creeps or if they're just pretending. And in my opinion, those kind of cross lines. Like, you're being a creep by pretending you're going to do that to her. The love interest, Michael, is okay. I didn't like him very much. He was very annoying. In all honesty, Rika, the main character, she's trying to do this thing where she doesn't want to lose the game that Michael's playing with her. If she were to give up or walk away, she is giving into the game and she's losing, which I find really funny to me because I feel like if she walked away, she'd be winning the game for herself. Her going into the arms of Michael when he's being horrible to her feels like it's more for his benefit than her benefit. So I find it to be really annoying when she runs back to him because she doesn't want to lose at his game. It's so stupid because if she just walked away, that would teach him more of a lesson than anything else. I don't understand. I think when it comes to dark romance in me, I don't mind dark romance if there are two things that are not crossed. One, if the male protagonist isn't literally forcing himself on her, which I know that might be a thing that comes out in the future, definitely near the end of this series. Then another gripe I have is underage characters. And for some reason, taboo and dark romances love adding underage characters. They don't always end up being with them intimately, but there's always like this little bit of pining or tension with underage girls, and I don't understand it at all. It's happened before many times, and every single time I see it, it really gives me the ick. And I hate it. It's one of the only things I really hate. In this situation, the flashbacks go to Rika when she's 16, and all of the guys want her, although Michael, of course, the most, and he is 19 and she is 16. She's about to turn 17, okay? So it's not as creepy, right? It's still creepy. She's still 16. Only positive with Michael is that he doesn't actually take it all the way with her. She is the one insisting that they do something, they get to that stage, but Michael's like, I'm waiting until you're at least 18, which this sounds so sad because the bar is on the ground, but I have some respect for him to say that. Like I said, the bar is in hell, but at least he respectfully waited for her to be 18. At least that's something. It's not that great, but it's something. But then there was Damon. Damon is my least favorite character of this entire book. He pretty much ruined it for me, I would say. Like, it went from like a 3-ish stars to a 2 stars because I feel like Damon just grossed me out so much that even though he wasn't the main character, I just hated him so much. And the fact that he gets his own like redemption arc, he gets his own book, and everyone loves his book the most, I don't like it at all. I think that if I read his book, I might like him more, but the thing is I don't want to like Damon at all. And he just constantly makes jokes about women and he hates women, so I guess that's why. But like I don't like misogynists at all. I don't like men that hate women. Like this is just more problematic than dark. I just don't understand how I can like characters who are trying to like force themselves on a female character, or that have aspects of underage lust and stuff. I'm just not really interested in that. I also didn't like the writing. These smut scenes were not good in my opinion. They weren't that well written. I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm not saying that you can't enjoy them, but I just didn't like the smut. It wasn't that great. It was kind of just like fine, I guess. I feel like the dark aspects were more around them being just horrible to her. I don't really feel like it was that dark in my opinion. So let me bring up my ranking system. This isn't that dark, but I feel like it just felt like it because of the content matter. So I'm going to probably put this in the dark category just because it's really close to being in the shadows, but I think this one kind of deserves to be in the dark category, just like barely. It's kind of like the shadows and the darkness meeting. It's kind of in the middle. I'm gonna place this in the dark category because I feel like it is dark, but it doesn't feel very dark. I'll put it in the top. Like lighter dark romance makes more sense for Corrupt. So we only have 2 so far. Nothing to really look at. I'm having fun with this anyway, regardless of the fact that I might not have liked Corrupt. I think I will eventually like one of these dark romances. I have faith that one of them will be at least like a high 4 stars. I don't give 5 stars very often. If I give any of these 5 stars, I'm going to be very amazed. But still, I'm excited to kind of continue this project and seeing what I feel. I'm hoping to read 2 books every single video, but then the later books I'm planning on reading 1. So kind of just like a reading vlog for each book independently. I'm looking forward to it. I'm also a little bit nervous about it because I know the content is going to get worse. So I'm a little nervous to say the least, but I'm looking forward to trying things, see if I like them. And if I hate them, talking to and rambling about them because I like to rant about books, but I do want to get books I like too. I'm not doing this hoping I'll dislike them all so I can ramble and rant about them. I genuinely want to like some of these. So Corrupt wasn't the best, but maybe next time I actually kind of enjoyed. I just wish it was a bit longer, so maybe I'll look into more of Christina Jones' work. In regards to Penelope Douglas, I don't think I'm going to be reading her books. I just don't think I like her writing style or her smut scenes. Maybe in the future I'll try something else, but I don't think right now I want to. So I think I'm just gonna end off with her for now. So part 2 should be up within the next month or so. I am looking forward to seeing if I like more dark romance. A little bit nervous, but yeah, I still have, like I said, like 13 or so books to read, so hopefully I will at least like one of them. I mean, I have faith at least one of them should be good. If I don't like any of these, I think dark romance is just not for me. So with that, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have some good reads, and I hope to see you all soon. Goodbye, everyone.